Do you know the level of grace that you would have, the level of spiritual covering that you would have, that smear campaigns meant to destroy you will work for you, will introduce you into offices that you never stepped into? See, when people take enough time to make up lies against you, make up smear campaigns, smear your name, when they go into different offices to try to stop a promotion. But the problem is your name has a track record. Your name has enough grace that it spoke for you in rooms where you were absent. Let me tell you how it works. All the work you put in that you thought nobody was paying attention to will pay off. People will not just be surprised about the smear campaign, they will be surprised and they will think that it's uncalled for. They will defend you with your work. I mean, they will defend you with your work. Your positivity will make room for your enemies to the extent that they will look bitter, because people will be telling them that this person has a lot of nice things to say about you, but here you are trying to say bad things about them. When you first heard the gossip, it sounded like it would end you. It sounded convincing. It sounded very powerful. But what God had built through years of obedience could not be erased by a few conversations behind closed doors. The smear campaign introduced your name to rooms, but grace had already arrived there before you were there. And what they intended to bury became another reminder that God decides to lift you. Even the work of your hands will rise up and speak for you. You don't always have to attend every meeting to defend yourself. Sometimes the life you've lived becomes the loudest witness. That's why, regardless of what people say about you, you need to maintain integrity. Integrity will speak in rooms for you. Grace will go ahead for you. People will not be able to comprehend how people are standing up for you. I know you're sitting somewhere wondering, why isn't this promotion coming? Why isn't this breakthrough coming? It's because as a light bearer, someone that is chosen, usually you would have delayed season. People are trying to change the trajectory of your story, either to sabotage or to be there when the decision is taken so they can act like they are the reason why you got what you wanted. Meanwhile, they were causing a hindrance behind closed doors. Those acts of excellence and kindness that you portrayed did not go unnoticed. This will be the reason why people will speak up for you. False evidence will be brought up against you because you are a chosen one in your absence. So you won't be able to defend yourself. But as those false evidence are being planted, your grace, your credibility will clear the room. So know that whatever you're setting up is not just something that will show up in your presence or be relevant in your presence. It will be more relevant in your absence. This is what the haters don't know about you. Before they try to set you up, they didn't realize what you were working with. They didn't realize you were a chosen one. And your grace gives no room for smear campaigns to be successful. They prepared for your reaction. They prepared for your tears. They prepared for you to become so distracted, proving yourself that you would lose focus on where you were headed. They expected you to launch a scene, to expose everybody, to gather receipts and spend your days defending your name. They thought if they could pull you into the mud, they could delay your destiny. That's the plan. But while they were busy managing a narrative, God was managing your promotion. The calls kept coming in, the opportunities kept opening, people kept recommending you, doors kept unlocking. And every new blessing became another irritation to people who had already concluded that you were finished. They keep waiting for your downfall. They announced in private. Instead, they watched you rise, not because you were perfect, not because people didn't hear what was said about you, but because there was enough evidence of who you had been long before the accusations arrived. A smear campaign can only travel as far as credibility allows. When people have experienced your generosity, when you've been kind, when you've been consistent, when you've been professional, your character, they struggle to reconcile the version of you being sold to them. See, when you have an incredible track record, it's very hard to convince people negatively about you, people that have worked with you. It's very difficult to convince those kind of people. The seeds that you planted in secret will start speaking up for you. The person that you encouraged, the colleague that you help remembers. The stranger that you treated with dignity remembers. The people you showed up for remember. You thought those moments were ordinary. They weren't. Good never goes unrewarded. You would think that they didn't show you gratitude, but your reward is in front of you. Heaven will call those people witnesses. And suddenly, people you didn't even know were advocating for you in conversations you were never invited into. They will make statements like, "That's not the person I know. I've worked with them. They've always handled themselves with grace. I think there's more to the story." Sometimes God will allow you to hear just enough of the gossip to understand that the battle was real, while also hiding you from the number of people He raised up to defend you. Listen to me carefully. If He showed you every conversation where your name was protected, you would realize the truth. You were never alone as you thought you were. They've been waiting and they've been watching for the moment you would talk out of line, for the moment you would react impulsively or abuse your authorities, compromise your values, or make a careless mistake so that they could point and say, see what we told you. They expected your downfall to just come naturally. So they waited and watched and studied your movements. Some even created situations designed to provoke you. They withheld information from you, tested your patience, excluded you, misrepresented your intention, hoping pressure would pull out a version of you that looked nothing like the person people admired. Do you understand? But it wasn't working. You didn't take the bait. You didn't send the reckless message. You didn't explode in public. You didn't cut corners. You didn't respond to insult with insult. You didn't give them the evidence they needed. So they had no choice but to manufacture it. When they couldn't find a scandal, they created a story. When they couldn't point out your actions, they attacked your motives. When they couldn't expose a pattern, they invented one. Because some people become frustrated when the reality that they've painted refuses to cooperate with the narrative they've already chosen about you. And there is something about you and about chosen one is, with experiences, you will be able to learn that not every invitation deserves your attendance. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opinion requires your response. You learned what was required of you and moved accordingly. You know the rules and you studied them based on your experience. You've counted the cost before making decisions. You paid attention to details other people overlooked. This is what people miss about you. This is what they don't know about you. You understood that opportunities can be lost through carelessness, so you guarded your conduct. You guarded your speech. And this is why you haven't messed up in ways that people expect. Beyond your discipline, there is something called devotion. When you have devotion with the Spirit, people don't know your level of devotion. They don't know how you pray before you take steps. They don't know how many times you asked God for wisdom before answering, before responding to people. They don't know how often you said, "Lord, place a guard over my mouth." They don't know about the private corrections, the repentance, the tears, the moments you choose obedience when nobody was watching. Usually when people are dealing with gifted people, they think everything is luck. They think that everyone is dealing with luck. No. Every one of you have gone through a season of preparation. So they were plotting blindly against someone who had already sought divine direction. So while they were studying how to trap you, you had already been studying how to walk wise. A bag of coffee beans sat quietly on the shelf. It had this aroma that was very inviting. And there was a coffee maker that didn't like the aroma. So every day It shook the beans, crushed it, pressed them underneath heat and pressure, convinced that it will work, convinced that if it worked hard enough, it could ruin the beans. But the coffee shop watched from behind the counter. The coffee maker's job was only to process what was placed inside of it. The coffee shop made the final decision about what will be served. So when the pressure was over, the aroma of the coffee beans filled the room more than it was before it was crushed. The scent became more intense and customers gathered around the coffee maker. They were so intrigued by the scent, they wanted a piece of it. So what the coffee maker meant as destruction was actually attention to the coffee bean. The pressure did not expose anything. The pressure did not crush the coffee bean, did not stop the scent of the coffee bean, because that was what was intended. Instead, the scent filled the whole room, and the coffee shop decided that this particular coffee bean will be the one on display for everybody to see. You are the coffee bean. You've been crushed. Your name has been destroyed before you were able to present yourself. You were not given opportunities to defend yourself. But in some way, your name preceded you. As soon as your name was mentioned, your work, your history defended your reputation. The smear campaigns were not able to work for you because the aroma that you carry, the intensity that your name carry cannot be subdued. You've studied your environment and you know the rules. You paid attention to how things worked. You didn't have the intention to manipulate the system, but you just wanted to use your discernment for your protection. The smear campaign carried your name into offices you had never stepped into conversations you weren't part of, into rooms where your face was unfamiliar. They thought they were issuing a warning. Instead, they sparked curiosity in the minds of people. People began to ask, who is this person? What have they actually done? And then when they went looking, they found your work, the project you completed with excellence, the people you helped without seeking recognition, the consistency you maintained when nobody was watching. What they expected to be a character assassination became an unexpected portfolio review. The very investigation they hoped would disqualify you became the reason people discovered the depth of your contribution. See, sometimes God allows your name to travel ahead of you, not always through ideal circumstances, but through situations that reveal that your character can survive anything. Because when the smoke finally clears, right? When the air finally clears, people may forget the accusations, but they will remember the evidence, they will remember the work, and they will remember the impact. In all of this, they will remember your name. So your grace will overshadow the smear campaign, and what was sent to bury your name will end up announcing it.